Yo, what's good guys, it's JD here, hello and welcome to today's Nobody Spent episode. And on a day, we finally get spotlights, and they're not actually in the spotlight section for whatever reason, they're in the skill challenges section if you don't know where they are. So we've got a lot to break down here. We've got to break down the challenges themselves, the rewards, the cards, the final reward, which is Invincible Embiid. And my feelings and the community's feelings surrounding the drop today. We didn't get any Evos, which is a bit of a shame. Obviously, we got those last Thursday, and we thought we were going to get them again today, but we didn't, so dropped these instead. But yeah, they've done it very weirdly, to say the least. You've got this entire group here for Opal RJ, this entire group here for Opal Brandon Ingram, and then this group for 12 different players. So very weird. Not sure who came up with this or why, but it is what it is. I'm going to break down everything, and of course, we've already done a few challenges. We've got a few of the guys to unpack, and we've already unpacked the big fella. Had to be done, the Minute Bowl, and that is arguably the toughest challenge. Sapphires versus Heroes. There's no gold versus Invincibles like there were last year, although we might get that later on in the year. But it's Sapphires versus a full hero lineup. I managed to do it first time around, and I really don't think it's that difficult, so I'll tell you guys how I did that as well. We've also got promo super packs, which nobody cares about, so yeah, a weird day from 2K. You would expect spotlights to be a massive W day, but let me know down below how you're feeling today. What's the vibe surrounding these spotlights? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you somewhere in between? I feel like I'm somewhere in between. Let's jump into it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for the daily videos and check out facebook.com/JDCrossover for the daily streams. So it says limited time event for, that's still Malik Sealy there. And then over here, so Heroes on part 5. It's just for more XP. 25 dunks, 20 boards, 40 points. So 5,000 more XP if you so desire. We then have XP for every single challenge card, which again is fine. XP is super easy. No one really cares about XP anymore, and that's for a diamond shoe pack. Woo! You then get week 2, part 3, and that is all you get in terms of the agenda section. So let's begin. You have to do the Return of Heroes Eastern Conference. Now this is 5 tokens per game. And each game, you need to change your entire starting 10, or starting, and bench unit. You must use 10 players from the Hornets, then from the Pacers, then from the Magic, etc. And we know how clunky and outdated 2K's, lineup system is, so you're going to have to go in here each time and either, scroll to a team, do one, do it again, do another. For 10 players, or, search by players by name, so that's dead. And all you've got to do is win the game and prevent the other team from scoring more than 60 points, and they are all 5-minute quarter all-star difficulty games, and it's exactly the same for Brandon Ingram over here. Again, all of these all-star difficulty 5-minute quarter games, 10 players from each team, and win the game to prevent the other team from scoring more than 60 points. So in total, these are basically just domination games. These are going to take you about 7.5 hours to complete each section. Obviously, you can get through 2 games in an hour pretty much, so 14 games takes you 7 hours, add another game about 7.5 hours. So 7.5 hours for Brandon Ingram. 7.5 hours for RJ Barrett. Tell me that's worth it, and I'll call you a liar. So 15 hours for these 2 cards right here, and that is 15 hours of put you to sleep gameplay. That is 15 hours of I want to die of boredom gameplay. So that is a real disappointment for me personally today, but more importantly for the rest of the community as well. The community sort of outlook on this has been that why are these so dull and so long? It just doesn't really make sense. But anyway, so we've got that part of it, or these 2 parts of it, which come in about 15 hours. We then have the actual Challenger trials themselves. Now, these are for 150 tokens, and this is where the good is from today. We'll get onto the actual players in a bit, but this is where the actual good is. So, this first one, not really that good. Pro difficulty, 5-minute quarter, win by 20. These are meant to be Challenger trials, all right? I know who's struggling to win against the Pro difficulty AI by 20 in a 5-minute quarter game, so that one is pretty pointless and shouldn't really be there. This one's a little bit different. So this is for Patrick Ewing. Make 15 shots from the post, and then the game does end. So as soon as you hit 15 shots from the post, the game ends. So that's not bad. That one's fine. No problems there. Win the game. Original owners only. 5-minute quarters. It's just another game of domination. There's no need for that. This one's a bit different. 8-minute quarters. It is on pro difficulty. Score 100 points with the player, but the game does end when you hit 100 with the player. So that one's not actually that bad, and again, I don't mind it. This one's tough, but again, I don't mind. I'm not saying these are too hard. These are, if anything, maybe a little bit too easy. I'm not saying these are too hard, but this is win the game without letting the other team make a 3-pointer, and you're going up against the Splash Bros. Steph and Clay. That could be interesting. All-star difficulty, 5-minute quarters. but I think that should be okay and it should be quite fun. This one, win the game using only point guards, not the team I used, and record at least one block. All-star difficulty, 21-point game. Now, you do not go up against Bam Adebayo. You go up against Yao, Manute Bol, and George Murasan. Quite a big lineup you go up against. But I used Isaac Bonga and then 2 other people. But Isaac Bonga got 2 blocks in that game for me. So Bonga's good. Sabonis you can use. Tony Kukoc you can use. Just using that position point center at point guard. They do have to be primary point guard. They can't be secondary point guard. It has to be primary point guards. But yeah, that challenge wasn't too bad. So we've got that one done. Next challenge. I got over halfway in this challenge. And then, well, my brain shut off. And I kicked it out to the corner for 3. And I took a shot. And it went in, of course it did. So yeah, win the game without recording an assist. You just got to be mentally switched on. It's super easy, just 5 out and just go straight to the rim. But my whole play this entire year has been 5 out and kick to the corner. So I've got to try and teach myself not to do that. All of these games, although being 5-minute quarters, I think is just ridiculous. There's no need. 30 minutes per game in 2022 is just silly. It's just silly. They should be 4-minute quarters. Or they should end earlier. The next one is win the game without turning the ball over. Again, shouldn't be that much of an issue. I think that I didn't make a turnover in this game, so that would have been fine. So yeah, that one's not going to be a problem. Win the game while attempting only 7 shots as a team. So obviously you just got to go 7 of 7 from 3 in triple threat, all-star difficulty, super easy. Win the game without committing a foul against James Harden CP3. That could be interesting, but the strategy for that one, for this one right here, just flop. Just flop and leave them open a wide open lane. And honestly, same strategy for this one as well. Win the game and let them not shoot a 3. Just flop and let them drive to the lane every time. That's pretty much how I'm going to go through those games. We then got win the game and make at least 11 dunks. So every single bucket has to be a dunk. I actually messed up and did a layup. So I let the AI catch up, took the game and extended the game, and then got the 11 dunks done, and that was super easy. And then win the game with Manute Bol, well, for Manute Bol, and you may use up to sapphires. Now, for me, when I did it, I'm pretty sure it just said only sapphires, but anyway, is what it is. So I used only sapphires, and this is the team that I used, 1 take, and it was done. Main MVPs, Jay Williams was good, and so was Davion Mitchell, my 2 point guards, and I just did that, 5 out, and kicked to the corner, super easy. DeAndre Hunter hitting 3s, Finney Smith hitting 3s, Isaac, Jaylen Brown, Rocco. I don't think anybody else made it onto the team. But if you're going to use some emeralds, you would definitely use people like Lonzo Ball, the Zero Gravity one. You'd use people like Alperen Sengun with that base 3, I think is base 3. But yeah, that challenge wasn't all that bad. And for completing that whole section, you do get 150 tokens. For this, you get 5 tokens per group. So is that 5 times 15 is something. It's 75. Definitely didn't use a calculator. So 150 tokens for completing the East and the West, and then another 150 here. So 300 tokens in total for completing the entirety of the spotlights. No packs or anything like that. No hot badges. 300 tokens, which, you know, it's neither here nor there, is it? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not even half of a Galaxy Opal. So the tokens are pretty irrelevant, really. And then, obviously, we come over to the players. So, let's go over to the mural right here. And there is Invincible Embiid. Now, first things first, Invincible Embiid at the end of it, brilliant. You can't fault him. 7 foot tall, 7'5" wingspan, base 47, same base as Taco Fall. Really good centre. 65 off badges, can be your centre until the end of the game. So, Invincible Embiid, fantastic. As for the other cards, we've got Halliburton, who's got, I think he's no driving and no defense in terms of like off badges, so not the best driving, not the best defense. Westbrook is just a copy of his Dark Matter Westbrook, the All-Star one, with a very quick release. Manute Bol, his first card of the year, 7'7". There's one stat that lets him down. That's 52 vertical, which is quite low, but he is 7'7". He's got an 8'6" wingspan. It's going to be a fun card to use. Chris Mullen is the same, and I do mean the same, as his 1990s reward card here. So if you've locked this in over the last week or two, it's a L. If you locked in Mullen months ago, then it doesn't really matter. But yeah, this is the same card. Few stats differences, but the badges are exactly the same. Animation's exactly the same. So we all get to use the 1990s Dark Matter Chris Mullen as an Opal. Patrick Ewing is the same as his Dark Matter. Sort of not great. DeJounte Murray looks good, but I don't think he has the driving. But DeJounte Murray was one of the better cards that came out today. Brandon Ingram's got no defense. Though Zion. RJ Barrett actually looks really nice, but 7.5 hours just for RJ is a joke. Donovan Mitchell, obviously undersized. Steve Nash, undersized and no driving. Sean Kemp, iffy release, but he can play small forward. Bam, undersized at the 5 with a 6'9" frame. AI undersized and CP3 undersized. So, you know, I would say the best advice is don't think of these cards as like, oh, I'm doing this challenge for CP3, I'm doing this challenge for AI. Just think you're doing this challenge for Invincible Embiid, and they're one of the pieces that you need, which obviously is the case. So, yeah, the cards themselves are pretty lackluster. But Embiid is great. I think Embiid alone is enough to want to do these, but not at the time it's going to take to get through these. In total, you are going to be looking, I mean, like I said, you're looking at 15 hours just for this, and there is literally no way you can make that go quicker. That is 15 hours, and that's that. For these, you know, it depends how many games you lose or have to retry, but I'd probably put this grind in the realm of 20 to 25 hours, maybe more if you have to keep replaying things, but 20 to 25 hours. Do I think that's worth it in June in 2022? In the way gaming is right now, with so many reward cards in other games being attainable in a few hours' time, a 25-hour grind for one real top-tier usable card and then a couple of tokens, in my opinion, it's way wide of the mark. It's awful. It's really poor. It's so out of touch. What are these two sections doing here? I just don't understand. This section's fine. It needs a few tweaks, but in general, this section is okay. But why have you given us another domination mid-season? Like, nobody's even happy about this domination. No one cares about this domination, and you've just done the same thing again. I just don't get it. I'd love to know why. I think 2K are so archaic in their systems that they just want to give so much boring gameplay that it just keeps people playing. They don't want to give out regular grinds like this. They'd rather just give out one massive grind to keep people playing. But people aren't going to play this. You know, let me know down below. How are you feeling? Like, are you going to do this? I'll be honest. I don't think I'm getting through this. This is literally my job. I don't think I can put myself through this. It's 15 hours of mind-numbing gameplay. 1 hour a day for every 2 weeks. I don't know if I could be bothered to do that. And then obviously add these on as well. And, you know, you got to think, there's everything else to do this season as well. You know, that is if you do that and then just drop everything else. We still go through clutch time, which is a hell of a grind. I'm only halfway there. Unlimited, I want to try at some point. We're nowhere in that. You know, domination, again, I'm over just a third of the way through that. It's so much boring, mind-numbing gameplay, and that is my biggest complaint with this game right now. These challenges are good. Like, we've gone through 4 already because they were fun to do. The Sapphire Challenge was fun enough. The dunks only, the 7 threes, that's fine. What else do we do? The block with the point guard, that's fun. These challenges are good because they're engaging, and you don't just play the game and then turn off mentally. You are going to turn off for every single one of these 30 games and not even care and not even bother. You could do these in sleep. So yeah, a big shame. 2K had a slam dunk today, and they done blown it. They had a wide open 3, Swaggy P vibes, and then they've turned around, celebrated, and it's not gone in. It's sad. It's out of touch. I honestly think the community would have been happier today if they just dropped an Evos. If they hadn't dropped these and just dropped Evos, I think the community would have been happier. Which doesn't make any sense because Spotlights, like I said, they're a slam dunk. They're so easy to get right. And 2K have just gone wide of the mark. So it's a bit of a shame. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to do this because it's just so time consuming and draining at the same time. It's just so unengaging. And that's not the content I want to consume personally. And also, it's not the content I want to put out for people. If other people do it, you know, if you find this fun, and more power to you, man. I wish I could, but I really can't. Other than that, there's not much going on in the world of 2K. I have bought a 50 Hoff badge Luca in anticipation that his price is going to go up a little bit over the weekend. 50 Hoff badge Luca for 700k. I think that's quite good. 50 Hoff badge Luca could definitely sell a million MT, and in another way, shape, or form. So maybe over the weekend we'll list him up 24 hours. Hopefully we'll get a million MT back for him. There's a 74 right there. Hopefully get a million MT back. Even if we get 900k, we make profit. So that's why I scooped him. And the Hollow 75s. Maybe we're going to be making some additions to our gorgeous Hollow 75 lineup here. We've got 6 of them. Now there's an AD there that's got a bid, but then literally right after that there's one with a buyout of 97k. And I was like, should I just buy that one? But then you scroll along a little bit further, and there's another one. So yeah, I'm going to monitor those in the next hour or so, but hopefully I'll be okay. And then that KD is up, and I'll try and buy that, and then there's no LeBrons and no Giannis's, but we could be nearly getting a full Hollow lineup, which is pretty damn cool. So that's all the spotlights. Well, they're not even spotlights, skill challenges. So the skills challenges for today. As they're very torn. 7.5. If you just want Opal RJ Barrett, you've got to play 7.5 hours to get him. Like, what? Why? If you want Brandon Ingram, you'll play 7.5 hours for him? Why? If you think that's fair, I'm sorry to say, but you're just objectively wrong. No one should have to grind 7.5 hours for an Opal card in June, and 7.5 hours of boring ass gameplay as well. So yeah, I don't know, very torn. Some good, some bad. Some good reward cards, some bad reward cards. Overall, Embiid is good, but overall, I don't think I'm going to do it. Let me know down below your thoughts. Are you going to go for him? Are you not? Let me know. It's going to do it for me today, everybody. Hope you have enjoyed. As usual, please like, subscribe. I'll see you next time, and peace.